What's up? Real MVPs, Ricky Widmer here, and welcome into another edition of MVP Sports Live right here on our YouTube page, MVP Sports. You may be watching us live right now. You may be watching us after the fact. No matter how you are doing so, thank you for spending a little bit of your time with us. I am joined, as I sometimes am, with my beautiful co-host, Soapy Muffin. Soapy, how you doing?
I'm doing good.
Now, originally you were not supposed to be here today.
That is true.
You're calling, this is one where, however you want to do it, either, are you a righty or a lefty?
Righty.
Oh, damn it. I can't say, we're not calling in the lefty for this one. We're calling in the righty. Soaps is coming in because, for those of you who watched yesterday's show, Jake was being a little baby because the Sixers got eliminated, or I'm sorry. They went down 3-2 to the Atlanta Hawks. And some people might say I'm getting ahead of myself there, Soapy, saying they're eliminated. But, yeah, Jake wasn't on yesterday because, the Sixers lost. Even though I'm a believer still that they can win tonight and win in Game 7. Apparently, Sixer fans don't have that same belief. Today was originally supposed to be NFL with Jake and I. I had a full slate. You know what? We're going to talk some Bears. We're going to talk some LA Rams. We may even talk a little bit of other teams. I had a whole slate. And then Jake said, yeah, if they lose, I'm not coming Thursday nor Friday. And he told me, I have the text right here, Soapy. I will actually clean it up a little bit because it's got a little bit of colorful language that I don't think we want online. But
to be fair, I'm on the same show with you, so.
Yeah, I know that, but this comes from the mouth of Jake, not the mouth of Soapy. There are standards Jake needs to uphold the bond. But he says, warning, I will not be home tomorrow. I'm getting stupidly drunk and watching the game, smiley face. I said I figured Soapy and I will do NBA. He said thanks with a heart, and I gave him the gif of Pam that's just, yep. Jake Ramirez says LOL, and he said Embiid was the MVP. Hey, Embiid was the MVP. I will die on that rock with Jake. But, hey, I believe the Sixers are going to win tonight, Soapy. I believe that they will win Game 7. You never lose hope. It ain't over until it's over. Just ask Jake. I don't know how old Jake was when the Red Sox beat the Yankees, but I'm pretty sure that he might have thought that 3-0 series was over. And it's not over until it's over. Let's go Sixers. Sixers in 7. But we got a jam-packed show, Soaps. We were originally going to just talk draft and stuff today, but this has been the way I'm looking at this is either if you want to look at it as a Christmas advent calendar, or if you want to look at it like Hanukkah. I think that's the better analogy. This week has been NBA Hanukkah for us, where every single day it's been, here's a new gift. Here's a gift. Here's a piece of news for you. Here's another piece of news for you. As this morning, Boston, Brad Stevens did what Danny Ainge couldn't and made a trade. So we're talking about Kemba Walker today being traded from Boston to OKC. And then we are also previewing the damn NBA draft combine. Because Soapy, we were supposed to preview that on, was that on Wednesday we were supposed to preview that?
Dude, I don't even know. This could have been 3 weeks ago we were supposed to preview this, and it kept getting pushed back.
It wasn't 3 weeks ago. It was this week. It just seemed like 3 weeks ago.
It was Wednesday.
But we are
either Tuesday or Wednesday.
Yeah, but we are finally previewing that damn combine that starts on Monday. Before we get into everything, though, let's get the housekeeping done. Number one, if you're not in the MVP Discord, it's the greatest community in the universe. You can be talking NBA with everyone, the boys, like myself, Jake, Soapy, Dave, or you can talk with everyone in the MVP community that's in the Discord. It's free. It's down below. It's right there in the description. If you want to support us, 2 ways you can do that. Either check out patreon.com/MVPvids, or you can become a channel member today. Get rewarded for supporting us. Soap's mock also went up today. So, I mean, gold members already saw that a week before. Soapy's new mock is up, though, for everyone, so you can check that out. And if you want to see our... Go ahead.
The fact, the day it goes live, that's when the Celtics decide to fuck it up.
I mean, let's be honest. Like,
let me down once more.
It's one pick. Like, whatever.
I mean, hey, that shakes up my mock. Because, for anyone who hasn't seen my mock,
yeah,
that means then Davy Mitchell's not going at 16 because they drafted Suggs at 4.
Yeah, no, good point.
He continues to fall.
He continues to fall. But, yeah, you can check that out. Or you can become a gold patron or gold channel member. You can see our scouting previews. There's at least one of them up right now. The next one is coming up very soon, either late tonight or early tomorrow on Patreon. So you can see those a week before they come out, as we're going to try to have 2 of those each and every week. And then last but not least, hit that sub button, hit that like button, that notification button, comment down below, everything to help the algorithm do everything that it needs to do for MVP. Is got a little frog in my throat, Soapy. Before we get into everything, Ben says, the Celtics fan, I don't know how I feel about the more. I like Horford, but we gave up 16. Jake says, Ben, how do you feel about Moses Brown? And Ben says, I hope he's good for us. He's 7-2, right? And Jake said, I think he is 7-1. But let's get into this trade, Soapy. This is the first thing we're breaking down today. It was the biggest news of today. Kemba Walker is now a member of the OKC Thunder. Woj had the tweet. It said the Celtics are trading Kemba Walker, the number 16th overall pick in this year's draft, and a 2025 second-round pick to OKC for Al Horford, Moses Brown, and a 2023 second-round pick. Woj then quoted that and said, Boston gets financial flexibility moving off the $73 million owed to Walker with the return of Horford. OKC has 3 first-round picks in July now. Thunder can work with Walker on what's next for him, as they did with CP3, Melo, and Horford. Soapy, we're going to look at this in both sides. We're going to look at this from the Celtics side. We are going to look from the Thunder side. Let's look at the Celtics side first. And the thing that blows my mind, Soapy, is that there are people on the internet that believe the Celtics lost this trade. That this is a, hey, meme city, the Celtics screwed up and they got robbed in this deal.
Yeah, like, I think, personally to me, I view it as a win-win. I don't really think there's, like, a definitive winner. Like, obviously, yeah, like, OKC got the 16th pick. That's cool.
Yeah.
The Celtics are a team that didn't really need the 16th pick. They now have cap room flexibility. They've shown the fact of, they're like, no, we're not just going to add another rookie to this team again. I think, one, you add someone like Moses Brown, who we saw last year was an incredible talent that came out of the G League. No one could have expected him to be that once he reached the NBA level. Obviously, he did kind of cool off near the end there, but like his first couple of games, he had like 20 and 20 games, like showing off like insane potential. And basically, like, it kind of addressed a little bit of like the center problem. Obviously, Moses Brown's still very young. He's still a very unproven prospect. You know, you bring in someone like Horford, who's already been with Brown, who can help him adjust to the city of, you know, Boston. I almost said Chicago. Yeah. Adjust to the city of Boston. You know, and as well of now, you have Horford, who's making less money than Kemba. Like, obviously, don't get me wrong, you could make an argument, which I think is a very fair argument, that Kemba is better than Horford. But once again, you're not bringing in Horford to I don't want to say so much play, because he probably will play. But, like, you didn't bring Horford in to, you know, be this all-star caliber center. You brought him in because it's like, okay, we got cap room. We'll probably find a way to try to restructure his contract or something. Or even just buy him out and then probably just bring him back at a cheaper deal or something.
Yeah, and I mean, the thing I'm looking for, the thing that people might realize, like, Ricky, you're looking down a lot. The first thing I've gone to is looked at Bobby Marks' Twitter, because when it comes to saving money, Bobby Marks is the way to go. And like, for me, I don't even care about them getting Horford. Like, yeah, they can buy him out. Yeah, they can trade him, move on from him later. Moses Brown, they can use him. He'll help what they need. We've always said, oh, they need a center. Like, basically this is something of like, do you want someone who's already been in the league? Do you want somebody who's a rookie out of college? But to me, the most important thing from this for the Celtics is how much money they are freeing up to where Bobby Marks has here. He says financial savings right now for Boston is $20 million. That number could increase to $32 million if Horford is waived before the 2022-2023 season. The Horford $26.5 million contract in 2022-2023 is guaranteed at $14.5 million. For Moses Brown, you have his contract going to Boston this upcoming year. He has 1.7 mil of non-guaranteed, then 1.8 mil of non-guaranteed. Then in 2023-2024, a $2 million player option. Like, this to me is, yeah, Al Horford's the big one, but like, I agree with you. You brought up they could just let him go. And I feel like that's what they're going to do. They might do the like, hey, let's float him out there, see if he could be like, because you don't want to waive him right away. Because if you're a team that's looking to add something, maybe via a trade, the thing that's good with Al Horford is he can be used as like a salary filler to where like he can fill up and make that contract work to where if Boston is going to try to get a Damian Lillard, if they are going to try to get, I'm trying to think of any of the other names that we've mentioned in the past week or so of like stars that could be on the move, this Al Horford contract now gives them that kind of filler. The only thing is, would a team that is trading a Bradley Beal, a Damian Lillard, would they be okay with taking a salary dump of Al Horford?
See, I don't think they took him in to do that.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's just because I don't think this Boston team has enough pieces to be able to pull off a move like that.
Okay.
I think it's the fact that they used a lot of like what their trade ammo was to the point of where it's like to get someone like a Damian Lillard, like a Bradley Beal, you would have to give up someone like a Jaylen Brown, and they definitely want to.
Oh my God! See, I know. You, Jake has called me crazy. David's called me crazy. Now I'm assuming you're going to call me crazy. I think Boston could get a deal done for a Damian Lillard, a Bradley Beal without giving up a Jaylen Brown.
I mean, you got to literally gut your entire team.
Yeah, but
and the only thing is, like, I don't think any of the young players, and this may just be me being a Boston hater or something without me knowing it.
Yeah.
I don't think Boston has a young player that's enticing enough to me that I'd be like, oh yeah, if I'm a team, I'm not going to be like, oh, yeah, you see your two young stars right there? I want at least one of them. Like, I think if the Celtics were like, well, no, you can't have either of them, they'd be like, all right, cool. It was nice talking to you. And they'd just hang up the phone. Yeah, well, I don't think it's absolutely crazy. I think it's just, I don't think right now there's a young player on this Boston team that's just like a holy shit, like, this is a player we want. Like, Romeo Langford's
none of them are like, when you look at it, like, I'm not saying that Romeo Langford, Aaron Nesmith, Grant Williams, Peyton Pritchard, I'm not saying that these guys are like, oh my God, I need to have them. But, like, they are, I feel like every time I have this conversation with someone, it's like we're just underselling them completely to where now Portland would be tricky with a Dame trade, I would say, because the thing with Portland is they got to figure out what their direction is. And to me, if you're trading Damian Lillard off the Trailblazers, you are entering a rebuild. There is no way you trade Damian Lillard and go, yeah, we're still going to compete for the finals. No. If you're trading Damian, you're entering a rebuild. Now, if it's a Bradley Beal type of deal, that one's interesting too, because are they keeping Russ? Is Russ also gone? Are they entering a rebuild as well? And I feel like the thing that Boston's younger players could add is none of them are like holy shit players, but to a team that's entering a rebuild by trading their star, these young players aren't chopped liver. They're not like nothing that can be discarded.
Yeah, I think it's just the way I look at it.
Mm-hmm.
I really don't see like any of the players. Like, I get it, they'd be entering a rebuild, but you still want something back that's worth it. Like, you want someone that could be a building block for your rebuild. And I think it's the fact of, like, if Romeo Langford's the only one you can throw out there, and we even had the joke for a while, like, is Romeo Langford even a real person?
I mean,
Like, we had that.
I think there could be a team that likes Neesmith or Pritchard just because of their shooting ability alone, because it's a shooters league.
Yeah, but, like, it's also a thing of, we saw Neesmith as a terrible defender who can't stay on the court.
Yeah, but
And
yet again,
fast PP, how much better can he get?
it all comes down to the team itself that is drafting, or the team that's trading. It would basically have to be them looking at, okay, what could we get out of this guy? What could we get? Like, fuck it. The one thing I'm going to throw out, this is going to be completely out of left field. And yet again, to find a trade partner, it takes two to tango. Does this open the door for maybe does Boston look at like a Buddy Hield, or monitor a Buddy Hield standpoint of, like, the Kings are a team where they can offload Buddy Hield and add in a lot of young pieces, but yet again, they're a team that's like, we may be trying to compete, because the whole meme about the Kings is either get guys that are going to help you win or get De'Aaron Fox off this team.
Yeah, like, I think they could now be in a situation to go for, like, the lower cap guys. I don't think they get a start. Like, that's the thing. I just don't think they have that ammo for that, but, like, I think they could go for a guy like a Buddy Hield. I already don't expect the Pistons to even be looking at trading this guy, but, like, if a Jeremy Grant does become available, like, doing something along those lines, it could be a running with that. And as well, if, even just for guys who are on, like, pretty bad contracts, but, like, maybe it's just, like a 2-year contract that they're still on, aka a Buddy Hield. At that point, you could just dangle Horford out, be like, hey, you're not taking almost a supermax worth of money. Like, yeah, Al Horford is as slow as a snail. At least he's a locker room guy now. Come on, man, take him, please.
Let's see. I'm looking up right now because I'm looking at YouTube chat, and the one thing I'm going to ask you is, so basically, I'm going to say did. I'm going to shorten it to did, and or DF is the initials. DF says in YouTube chat, Kemba can't play anymore and has a degenerative disease. It's going to get worse. Boston only needs to bring in a playmaking type of point guard to be competitive. How much would it cost a guy like Halliburton? I think a lot, because you're trading for a rookie there.
I don't think you can get Halliburton.
But for you, Jake Ramirez says DeRozan at point, just spitballing. I'll ask you, if a playmaking point guard is what you're targeting with Boston now to fill in the hole of Kemba Walker, is there anyone in the trade market? We'll look there first. In the trade market that you could see Boston trying to target and get on their team?
I mean, so with the trade market, it's such a weird thing, because, like, I feel teams would dangle a lot of players out. I'm gonna say a guy like Ricky Rubio. I know a lot of people don't like Ricky Rubio because he's kind of a meme.
Yeah.
But, like, he's available. If you're looking for just pure playmaking, Smith is a free agent. You could attempt to sign him. Obviously, he's not better than any of the point guards you really have in your roster right now. But, if you're still looking at the Kings, you could try to see if you can get DeLon Wright from him. Like, I feel like you could have a good chance to get him. Kind of just trying to think of some of the teams that have, like, a backlog of point guards.
Now, the one thing I will say is, as I got an itch in my ear, the one thing I will say, too, is the thing I was looking up is Boston and what picks do they own. After this year, they own all of their own picks from 2022 all the way through 2027. Here's the thing I take away from this trade. Brad Stevens is not going to be afraid to say, fuck it, if it takes first to get players, I'm going to do what I need to get these deals done. Because it's like I said in the Discord today when Jake said something and then I was replying to something Jake said, where it's like, he said, oh, this team, they need bench depth. That's what they need. They need bench depth. And I'm going, Yeah, but the thing that's most important here is the money that you free up with Kemba. Are we looking in the right spot even? Is a trade for another star, like I was thinking point guard, I'm looking like, could they trade for a John Wall with the Rockets? Like, would the
Ugh.
Rockets, I'm just spitballing, like John
I know.
Wall, like, do they target if the Wizards blow it up, either Beal or, I know Beal's not a point guard, but either Beal or even Russ, if you're looking for a playmaking point guard. I know that there's the stigmatism that Russ can't win. But like, do you look at a Russell Westbrook, or like we threw out Halliburton? Like, would it be like, okay, if I have to give you 3 firsts, I don't care. I'm getting who I want to make this team work. Like, is this basically the new era of Boston that we're looking at? Is Danny Ainge hoarded these draft picks like Smeagol with that goddamn ring, and Brad Stevens is Frodo. He's basically saying, if I have to take this ring and throw it off a cliff just to win a championship, I'm going to do whatever I need because I know the frustration of nothing getting done. I know DF says Lonzo and Dinwiddie, basically, I don't think, like, Lonzo, that whole situation has changed now that Stan Van's done. I know a lot of people think he's just going to re-sign. I'm hoping that he ends up in a Bulls jersey. Dinwiddie, I don't even know what's his thing, but like, free agent could be also another route. Bravo brings up that Reggie Jackson is a free agent. Like,
come on, man, no.
Well, like, could this team just like, and that's the thing I mentioned in Discord when Jake was like, oh man, they traded the that pick, they need bench depth. And I was like, yeah, but Brad Stevens probably looked at it and said, I don't need another rookie for this. If you're looking at bench depth, and you can even look at the point guard, the playmaking point guard, do they just look at free agency and go, you know what? We just need vets on this team. If I'm going to bring in bench depth, I don't want some rookie out of, like, I don't give a crap what college you went to. I want a guy like the thing I mentioned, like Andre Iguodala when he was with the Warriors, the like PJ Tucker that we're seeing right now with the Milwaukee Bucks right now, where it's like these veteran role players, like a David West when he was even on the Warriors. Like, I know some of these guys, like PJ starting now because of his defense on KD, but like, do they go that route of like, hey, we're just going to use this money to add bench depth, and if we look at that point guard, we're just going to get a budget guy in free agency and fill our team that way, because our team is basically Brown, Tatum, and the starters, and then a bunch of young guys that aren't going to do us any good if we get to the playoffs or when we get to the playoffs.
Yeah, I think it's and as well, I think it's just I don't really think you just need like a playmaking point guard. I think it's just you need someone who could be a really good playmaker.
Yeah.
I'm trying to see, because I saw one person's name get said one time. It wasn't in YouTube chat, but I saw it, and I don't remember if they're a free agent or not. I saw someone float out the name like Kyle Anderson. Like, basically throwing out like slow-mo.
Yeah.
Yeah, like throwing out players like that. Like,
hey,
I'm just kind of looking through.
Evil Danny Green's a free agent this offseason.
That is true.
Dylan Brooks, baby. Evil Danny Green.
Yeah, like, as well, just with some of the other free agents, like, if you're just looking for a point guard, Chris Dunn's available. Obviously, we don't know how much Chris Dunn will get, but like, I think it's just and obviously this is factoring in, like, do they bring back Tristan Thompson? Do they bring back Fournier?
Yeah.
Or find a way to get off of their money or something, even though I think keeping Fournier is a fine thing. I think Fournier is just fine. If he's running your bench unit, that's a good thing.
Let's see.
Because he can be really good offensively. We're kind of just looking at it, like, obviously, I think some of these players are going to make a good amount of money. Like, I see Doug McDermott's a free agent, but at the same time, it's like, he's probably going to get money because he played really good.
Yeah, and I mean, like, the other thing I'll throw out there is you've got, like, how many open roster spots are they going to have this year? So, like, they traded Kemba, they brought on 2 guys. So that's 2 roster spots. Like, right now, their free agents are Evan Fournier, Semi Ojeleye, Luke Cornett, and then Yeah, or Taco Fall. Then Taco Fall's an RFA. Like, if they let all three of those guys walk, basically you have three open spots because one of them would be taken up by either Moses Brown or Al Horford at this point. Um, Tristan Thomas is still under contract, but I think DF is talking about if that he might see him getting traded. Ben says he wants Ojale back, but like you've got basically then three spots to try to fill in. Either like what do you attack? Do you attack that point guard that YouTube chat's talking about? Do you talk about the bench depth? I know that basically who was it? I saw it in Twitch chat. Beastie Boy said trade back in the first or trade back into the first and get Io DeSumo. I don't see that happening, although I would fucking love it. Maybe Brad Stevens saw, hey, this draft is so fucking deep that I can give up the 16 in this trade, and if I wanted to trade into the second round, it's just fucking throwing money to get into the second round. I don't see them doing that. I see them going with kind of vet guys. Let's kind of pivot, though, Soapy. We've talked about the Celtics. Let's look at the Oklahoma City Thunder. First off, I will ask you the question. Lex said it when we were on MVP Entertainment, our sister channel or brother channel, however you want to look at it. Go ahead and follow it if you're not following and subbing already. Lex said that Kemba does not play a single game for the Thunder. Do you agree?
Yeah, like I think it's a. I think he does play some games. I think they may actually just straight up look for a buyout.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm going to be honest, like,
okay.
Just look for a way to be like, okay, cool, we got a 16th pick. I can, but we don't care.
Because like this is a team that is not looking for like, hey, if we got to buy you out and take a cap hit next year, that doesn't fucking matter.
Yeah, whoop-de-doo, we're not trying to be good.
Yeah, we just want draft picks. We're TTP 2.0, baby.
Yeah, we're like TTP on steroids. Like this, like the process showed up and everyone's like, wow, you know, that, like they got Embiid and Simmons. Like, yeah, we got fucking 4 first-round picks potentially.
You know what just hit
top
me?
5.
You know what just hit me, Soapy? Do you think Danny Ainge may have had a mini heart attack today, knowing that Brad Stevens added to the war chest of Sam Presti? He's like, oh, only my war chest can be that big.
It's probably like, Ainge is probably like, I may have to come out of retirement and work with Presti. That's a big chest he's got there.
my preciouses.
Ainge is slobbering right now just thinking about that war chest.
I mean,
yeah, I think it's
where do you think Kemba goes then? Whether it's buyout and signs or is traded to?
Yeah, I think it's just if he does get bought out, I think he just goes to a contender for like a cheap deal.
Yeah.
Like, I don't. But at the same time, I also don't think he gets bought out either.
Yeah.
It's weird. I don't know what to make with Kemba. I think he plays.
Bravo's on the same wavelength you are. He says, I don't agree. He might play point guard and roll like CP3 maybe.
Yeah. And I mean, and obviously, it really does depend. Because obviously, you know, we don't know how fucking longer this tank's gonna go on for. This shit could go on for eternity for all we know. Yeah. Until they're rolling out like a 7 all-star lineup that we're not ready for. They just are like, hey, we're gonna keep tanking, but once we finish tanking, we're gonna have fucking 8 all-stars in this goddamn team. You guys are all gonna be a cheap deals, best team in NBA history. Like, that's what the Thunder are gonna fucking roll out.
Yeah, see,
but
go ahead.
Yeah, I think it's just that you let Kemba play out his contract. You're not trying to be good.
That's 4 years though.
Oh, I mean, you let him play for 2 because they're probably gonna tank for 2 more.
I think if Kemba plays in a Thunder jersey, it's just next year. I think if he plays, it's a CP3 deal of he's playing for 1 year in OKC and either getting dealt at the deadline or dealt next offseason.
Yeah, and I mean, and obviously it really does depend, you know, because obviously maybe they get like 1 season out of him and basically they work on like just being like, hey, Kemba, how much do we have to pay you so you're off this goddamn team?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if they're able to get anything back for Kemba Walker because I know I saw like Miami get thrown out there. The only thing is I don't know if Miami wants Kemba.
Now, here's also the thing with Miami is their picks the next like 5 years. It's a little bit tricky. So with Miami, and this is one thing that I noticed today that we fucked up in your mock, Soapy, is
Oh, what do we do now?
well, no, it's not a huge fuck up, but the Miami pick. So if everything stays the same right now, and Houston stays in the top 4, then the Miami pick this year is a Thunder pick. The only thing is if the Rockets fall out of the top 4 and they like end up at 5 and the Thunder get that pick, then that Miami pick goes to the Rockets. So the most picks the Thunder can have this first round is 3. The Boston pick, their own pick, and then either the Miami pick or the Houston pick, whichever one they get. That's the only thing we fucked up. Basically, then next year, the protection is 1 through 14. Miami owns their pick. I do not think Miami is going to be in that situation where they are 1 through 14 in the draft, but who knows, anything can happen. If it's 15 through 30, it's either going to Houston or Brooklyn. And then basically in 2023, yet again, lottery protected. If it's not, it's going to the Thunder, which means basically that's set up for them 3 years. They already are sending 2025 over to the Thunder if it's not settled. So basically, like, Miami can't trade a first until 2027 or waiting until 2023. Thunder already have fucking, is what I'm saying, like, dibs on a Miami pick in the future. So, like, unless it's like, hey, you give us Kemba and we give you basically 2 of those picks that maybe we just give them to you for sure. I don't know if they can dip into that and trade that. Like, is there another team out? Like, I know on Twitter I saw a lot of like the Lakers should be a team that trades for Kemba.
I mean, dude, if I'm the Lakers, I don't want that contract. Mm-hmm. And it's just because the fact of like I don't trust Kemba's knees.
Yeah.
Like, that's my main thing. I look at it and it's like I don't know what you can get for Kemba. Mm-hmm. Like, that's why I think they just let him play his contract out, or like at least let him get 2 years done with his contract, because then at least you could be like, hey, it's not 4 years at least. You're still paying him like borderline a supermax, but yeah. I mean, hey.
And the only picks the Lakers can give up is they could technically trade their 2023 pick, but in 2023, let's say they trade it to the Thunder would have to deal with a Pelican pick swap, where basically if the Lakers end up higher in the draft than the Pelicans can say, nah, fuck that, we're flipping, and the Thunder have no say over it, or 2026, 2027. So, like, that's the thing. Do the Thunder care that those picks are like 5-6 years down the line?
Yeah, and I mean, and it also mostly depends on like how long they want this plan to be a thing. Mm-hmm. Like, I think it's like, obviously, you know, more ammo you add down the line, the better. But at the same time, it's just, like I said, I don't think a team is willing to trade a pick over Kemba, because they just, like, the Celtics just had to trade a pick to get rid of him.
Yeah, no, good point. Like, yeah, but, and that's the thing. That's a reason why I'm kind of leaning towards with you of the maybe he does play this year, because it's kind of like exactly what they did with CP3 of like, okay, his stock is low right now after Houston. We're just going to let him play with the young kids, raise his stock again, and then boom, we're going to basically trade him when the stock is high. Bravo also brings up a team we didn't mention. He says the New York Knicks could use Kemba too. They got a lot of picks, and OKC could use those picks.
I don't, like, once again, I don't think it's people give them a pick because Kemba's not that good at basketball anymore. See, that man's knees are made out of paper mache.
Is he not good at basketball, or was he not a good fit with the Celtics?
I think it was he looked insanely good when he was in Charlotte because he was the only one in Charlotte.
Yeah.
Like, I think it was a situation of he looked incredibly...
Which is why he's going to look really good with the Thunder.
Yeah, and like the only thing is like with that deal and the fact that we know Kemba's got knees like Joel Embiid,
Yeah.
like I
More
I
Sixers
real
slander.
boy, I'm saying Embiid's fucking meniscus looks like Swiss cheese, my guy. Leave me alone. But like that's the thing. It's just I think it's a situation where you don't get a pick back for Kemba. It literally is just like you get whatever the hell you can get for him.
Yeah. Here's my last question I'm going to ask, and this goes draft side now that the Thunder have the 16th overall pick, and we'll probably do a segment that's not you and me, probably Jake and Dave, breaking down exactly like in depth what the Thunder should do with their pick. Let's say for the sake of argument, everything stays the same. So the Thunder have the 4th overall pick. At that point, I'm assuming with your mock, they would be getting Jalen Suggs at 4, right? Because you have basically Cade, Mobley, and JG4 going off the board. If they get Suggs at 4 and you're Sam Presti, are you taking 2 guys at 16 and 18? Or are you trying to package those picks to move up for a guy in this draft?
I think they could easily attempt to do that. I think the only thing is I just don't know who would be left that they would attempt that for. Like maybe they're really high in like a Jalen Johnson, or like even like a Keon Johnson, or maybe a Scotty Barnes if they think he could be like a super next level player. Like I think it just really depends. Like I wouldn't mind seeing them trade up 16 and 18. Obviously that would completely fuck up my mock at that point. Yeah. But like maybe move like 16 and 18, move up, like see if you can get to like whoever's going to be at like 6 or 7.
So right
basically
now,
ask them like how many picks is it going to take, and then be like, oh hey cool, we'll take Jalen Johnson.
Actually, fuck it, I'm gonna do a lotto. So in this lotto that I just did, number 1, Cade, Suggs, Mobley, and Green are 1 through 4. The Thunder fell to 8. And at 5 got the Rocket pick. So they get at 5, 8, and then 16 are their picks now. So that's another thing. They could lose that 18th pick if they get the 5th pick.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, if I get the 5th pick, at that point, I'm just being like, yeah, so we win the draft, guys. It's been fun.
We win it. We get like at that point. And
see, I don't even... see, honestly... I think it's with having all these picks, I don't think they would take a Kuminga. I had them take Kuminga in mind just because it was like, I don't know how fucking long I want this process to go for.
Yuck, Soapy. So I simmed it again. Thunder got the 5th pick. Do you want to hear the fucking top 6?
Oh.
So number 1, the Magic. Tankathon had to take Cade Cunningham. Raptors at 2, Evan Mobley. Okay, 2 guys that we've had in our 1 and 2. Number 3, the Kings. Jonathan Kuminga.
Yep, dude, I'm telling you, Tankathon knows the Kings are going to fuck it up.
Number 4, the Charlotte Hornets. If you were Charlotte at 4 and Cade, Evan, and Jonathan Kuminga were off the board, who would be your pick at 4?
AG4, my guy.
Scotty Barnes.
You know, honestly, I don't hate that one, but JG4 should definitely be the one there.
At 5, Thunder. Who would you pick?
At 5?
At 5.
I mean, Kuminga's still there.
No. Kuminga's gone. Kuminga went 3. Barnes went 4. Your top 2 are Suggs and Green.
God. What? So, like, Suggs is still there?
Yeah, Suggs is still there. Oh. Green is still there.
Fuck it, take JG4.
They took Suggs, and guess who the Pistons get at 6, Soapy?
Oh, dude, it's destined. Tankathon called it.
Oh, JG4 going to the Pistons at 6. Oh, yeah, my God.
Just kind of going with, like, the actual draft thing. Like, if the Spurs are at 12, I could see them trading up with the Spurs. Because maybe there is a prospect they like there.
Yeah, plus, for instance, the Spurs could be looking to trade down for, like, a Kai Jones or an Isaiah Jackson.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, if we're going by my mock and what I've spoken to existence, Isaiah Jackson will be gone by then.
Yep.
But yeah, I think it's depending on then who's there. I think it's just the Thunder could be a team that, like, whoever they may think is like a top prospect that falls out of the top 10, they may be calling up whoever's at 11, be like, hey, listen,
Like a
So,
Josh Giddey.
yeah, I mean, like, if Josh Giddey's there, if Jalen Johnson falls as much as some people think he can, maybe be like, hey, so we have a war chest. This shit's built to, like, fucking year 3000 at this point. What do you want?
Yeah. No,
Like,
exactly.
I think that would be, like, my move if I was them. Basically, see who falls out of the top 10 that you may think is a really high prospect, and then just trade up to, like, 11 or 12 and take that player there.
Sorry, I was switching caps on a water bottle. So, because we're getting long in the tooth here, Soapy, yet again, through a water bottle, didn't want to pick up on Mike. Let's move on away from the Kemba Walker trade, or the Kemba Walker trade. And let's do something a little bit, we meant to do this a while ago, Soapy. This graphic that you see has been made all week. We've had it all week, basically, and we're finally getting to it. The exact date we had the idea to do this segment, Soapy, was the 15th, which I think was Tuesday. Yeah, it was Tuesday. So we meant to do this on Tuesday. We're just getting to it now on Friday. And that's previewing the NBA Draft Combine for 2021. So the list of the participants was posted on Tuesday. I am about to read the entire list of participants. So the list includes Max Abness, Oral Roberts, Ochai Agbaji, Kansas, Marcus Bagley, ASU, Scotty Barnes, FSU, Charles Bassey, Western Kentucky, Brandon Boston Jr., Kentucky, James Bouknight, UConn, Greg Brown, Texas, Jared Butler, Baylor, Julian Champagne, St. John, Justin Champagne, Pitt, Josh Christopher, ASU, Sharif Cooper, Auburn, Io DeSumo, Illinois, David, not that David Duke, Jr. from Providence, Kessler Edwards, Pepperdine, Luca Garza, Iowa, Raekwon Gray, Florida State, Jalen Green, G League, Quentin Grimes, Houston, Sam Hauser, Virginia, Aaron Henry, Michigan State, Ariel Hookporty, Lithuania, Matthew Hurt, Duke, Bones Highland, VCU, Isaiah Jackson, Kentucky, David Johnson, Louisville, Jalen Johnson, Duke, Keon Johnson, Tennessee, Herbert Jones, Alabama, Kai Jones, Texas, Johnny Juzang, UCLA, Corey Kispert, Gonzaga, Jonathan Kuminga, G League, Scotty Lewis, Florida, Isaiah Livers, Michigan, Matur Maker, Howard, the name that I'm going to fuck up, basically Sandro out of Seton Hall is what I'm going to say, Trey Mann, Florida, Matthew Meyer, Baylor, Miles Bride, West Virginia, Davian Mitchell, Baylor, Evan Mobley, USC, Isaiah Mobley, USC, Moses Moody, Arkansas, Trey Murphy III, Virginia, Dacian Nix, G League, John Petty Jr., Alabama, Ives Pons, Tennessee, Jason Preston, Ohio, Joshua Primo, Alabama, Rocco, is it Prkacin from Croatia, Naminas Quaid, Utah State, Austin Reeves, Oklahoma, Jeremiah Robinson Earl, Villanova, Terrence Shannon Jr., Texas Tech, Dayron Sharp, UNC, Jericho Sims, Texas, Jaden Springer, Tennessee, DJ Stewart, Duke, Cam Thomas, LSU. We're
going to be at this for a while, aren't we?
JT Thor, Auburn, Isaiah Todd, G League, Trenton Watford, LSU, Joe Wieskamp, Iowa, Zaire Williams, Stanford, McKinley Wright IV, Colorado, Moses Wright, Georgia Tech, and Marcus Zagorowski from Creighton. That is the list, Soapy. So, the thing I will ask you is, out of this list, who are you most excited to see at the NBA Combine? We will start there.
I really want to see Nishan Highland.
Okay.
I think it's the fact of I have been on this bandwagon since his team was not able to play in the tournament. That I have said I have him going really kind of. I mean, I say early in my mock, he goes in like the first round.
Yeah.
Like later first. I think after the combine, I think he is going to move into everyone's first. I think it's the only reason a lot of people don't have him in the first is we didn't see him in the tournament. Because obviously his team was voided because they had COVID issues right before the tournament started. So I think we see him rise up astronomically. People are going to see how gifted he is offensively. Like, I think he has good measurements. I think just it's the fact that we're going to see that, like, he is an NBA level player. We're going to see that, and I think a lot of people at the Combine are going to see his offensive skill set, and, like, teams are going to drool over it of, like, oh, that's Jamal Crawford.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, Highland is one. I mean, Risers for sure. Like, I would throw in basically Highland's a guy I look at. Io DeSumo is another one that I look at. Maybe even a Sharif Cooper. I believe that I read him off the list because the fucking list was so long. Like, there's...
Ricky, you want to know how many players there were?
How many?
69.
Nice. But basically, like, there are a couple guys in that kind of sediment that could, like, I could even see a Quentin Grimes improving his draft stock. Like, Io and Bones Highland are two of the ones I look at that are like, all right, for Io, it's like, hey, I should be up towards the lottery. Put some respect on my name. Bravo even says Scotty Barnes, Bouknight, and Zaire Williams. Zaire Williams, that's a big one. If he has a good combine, yet again, people will say, the combine, you shouldn't put all your stock in the combine. You should put all your stock in anything. You got to do complete, like, look-arounds with these prospects. But, like, Zaire Williams is straight potential. That's why I haven't had him in my first round, because I feel like he's going to fall, but with a good combine could rise. The guys I'm most excited for, though, at this combine to, like, they need a good combine in my mind is, the first one's Daishen Nix, where Nix going into the G League Ignite team was like, oh man, I can't wait to see what he could do. He was getting all these comparisons to great players, and then he kind of got foreshadowed by not just Kuminga, not just Isaiah Todd, not just JG4. He kind of even got overshadowed by Jarrett Jack. Like, Daishen Nix was a bench unit guy. He was leading the second unit for that Ignite team, to where it's like, I feel like people have forgot about him in a sense, to where he's kind of like, if the Ignite team was was basically a rock group, he'd be the Ringo Starr of the Ignite team, where it's like, hey, he's a big part, but no one's talking about him. They're talking about the JG4s, the Kumingas, the Lennons, and the McCartneys of that team. That would probably make Isaiah Todd George Harrison, just to complete the reference. But the other guy I am interested in is Jason Preston from Ohio. And the reason why I am interested to see how he does at the combine is because I've watched this kid play, obviously watched him in the tournament, got to see him early on. He played Illinois in a game in Champaign, Illinois, and he has been one where Jay Billis, college analyst for ESPN, going into the tournament, called him the LaMelo Ball of the East NCAA tournament. And although I don't feel like he is just a carbon copy of LaMelo Ball, I'm not saying that. Like, I feel like he could be a kid that if he shows out at the combine and has a good combine, he may get some second round looks in the NBA draft.
Yeah, and the player that I actually am really curious, because obviously we saw him massively fall throughout the year.
Yeah.
I want to see what Brandon Boston Jr. is able to do.
Yes.
Like, I want to see, with the combine, can he save himself from falling to the second round?
I mean, he's in the second round. He's got to basically get him back up into the first.
You know what I mean? Like, basically to save him from falling out completely.
Yep.
Like, and obviously, just kind of looking at some of the other people as well.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Garza will probably show up and, like, have, like, okay.
Luka Garza, don't even look at him. Don't look at him. The Iowa Hawkeyes, you don't want any of those guys on your team. They're doo-doo paper. They're not good. Not good. Take it from the Illinois guy.
I kind of want to... I'm interested in Ariel Hukporti, and it's just because of the fact of, like, there's a lot of foreign centers in this draft.
Yep.
And
Segun
like,
Garuba.
yeah, and then just like if you count him as a center, like Philip Petrusev,
Mm-hmm.
like him as well. Like I almost wonder, like I kind of want to see Hook Party, see like what he looks like.
Mm-hmm.
Like, does he like is he like super physically imposing? Obviously, I haven't watched a lot of his games.
Yeah.
Obviously, I want to see Isaiah Jackson because that man's my fucking Tyrell Terry of this year.
Mm-hmm. Now, Dave did say, I don't know if you saw this episode, that he was defending Tyrell Terry because I guess Tyrell Terry hasn't played mostly this year because of an issue with his family, and he was away with the team dealing with that.
I mean, hey, I'm not meaning that he's not going to be able to play,
Mm-hmm.
but
Has not been a steal so far.
yeah, has been the guy of like I fell in love with him in the draft, and I want to see what he's able to do. And also just another name.
Mm-hmm.
I want to see what Makur Maker is going to be like.
Yes. Yeah.
Because,
just because
like,
of his brother.
And like,
Don
because we also want to figure out if he's actually like 18, 19, or is he like 65 like his brother is.
Yeah.
And it's mostly just because like that's not even like taking it the approach of like, oh, like yeah, he's he's a maker, he's gonna get in because of his brother, but more of like a like I keep hearing like over and over again like, oh, he's better than his brother, he's better than his brother. It's like, all right, show me. And as well, just another name.
Yeah.
And this is a player that I don't like that they're coming out this year.
Mm-hmm.
I'm interested to see Marcus Bagley.
Okay.
Because once again,
because you thought he shouldn't have came out.
Yeah, I think it was he should have at least stayed for another year.
Mm-hmm.
But maybe he gets a good enough one. Because like for instance, in mine, I probably have him going in the second round. But like I just look at it and like I just look at Marcus Bagley and it's like, okay, it's like you're extremely raw.
Yeah.
And like I don't want to say like, oh, I'm like a Bagley hater because of his brother. Like I still don't even hate Marvin.
Well, and another thing too that I do want to mention is like, so I just pulled up an article. I didn't care what year it was from. Basically just asking the question of what NBA prospects have helped their draft cases with the combine, because the combine isn't the end all be all, but it is kind of important to where like, I just pulled up an article from 2018 from Sports Illustrated. And like, I just think of some of the guys that they said were rising at least after the combine. Like you have Dante DiVincenzo, Kevin Herter. They had Shake Milton as a faller, Josh Okogie as a riser. They had, let's see, Bruno Fernando was a push. DeAnthony Melton was a push. PJ Washington as a riser after the combine, to where it's like, what, 3 of those riser, PJ Washington adding some serious minutes. I know that for these guys, it's like now, 4 years down the line since they've been drafted. Well, 3 going into 4. PJ Washington playing significant minutes for the Hornets. DiVincenzo contributing greatly to a Bucks team when he's not injured, because he hasn't played this series because he's been injured. And then a Kevin Herter who is adding quality bench minutes to this Hawks team, that it's like, that's what I want to look at. And also thank you, Bravo, for the super chat. Says, good show, talk Pistons luck one day, please, and maybe pump our luck.
I've been
lottery.
I've been talking into existence. We're getting Cade.
Mm-hmm.
It's happening, Bravo.
Who would you rather would you rather have, Cade, Mobley, or JG4?
Cade.
Okay. Dumb question, but like I had to ask it.
I mean, because honestly, even in my mock when I had us at 2,
Mm-hmm.
I literally flipped a coin for who we took at second.
Yeah.
That's not even a joke.
Yeah.
I literally sat there and I was like, I want both.
I want both, man. But yeah, thank you, Bravo, for the super chat. But like the what I was mentioning is like, who's gonna be the guys in this combine that basically have it to where it's like, we talk like 3 years down the line of like, man, this was somebody that had his stock rise in the combine, and now they're not a superstar, but they're just adding quality minutes to teams that are in the playoff hunt or in the playoffs.
Yeah, and I think it's like this is the point of when like you really need to show up.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm even looking at guys that are like, I'll say like I don't want to say consensus second round,
Yeah.
but guys that like it's like Wieskamp, I think could raise his a lot.
Wieskamp, Garza, Bassi, Juzang.
I mean, Livers could be a guy who raises it as much as
Livers.
I have to bash every Michigan guy.
Like
besides Franz Wagner, I'm not allowed to bash him because he has to be better than his brother.
And Bravo does say Davian Mitchell probably a star. I mean, that's the thing. We're gonna have to see who's the stars from these drafts. Like you say, second rounders. I look. Max Abness is someone who's a second rounder to me. Charles Bassie, someone that's not moving into the first. Both Champagnes. David, not that
Miles
David
McBride.
Duke. Luke Garza.
I think Trey Murphy could also boost his a lot.
Trey Murphy, he's right now around that like 29 to 32, 33 area. Like that's the thing. Who are these second round guys? Like Zagorowski, I don't see getting into the first, right? Wieskamp, Garza, Walker.
Maybe Jeremiah Robinson Earl.
Like, who's going to basically go like, hey, we need to get this guy in the second round. The other name we've been dancing around that I got to bring up is this has got to be a big combine for Jalen Johnson. And it has nothing to do with his play. Like, Jalen Johnson better be practicing how he's going to talk to people. Because if, just like in the NFL, when these teams interview you, Jalen Johnson has to practice the question of being asked about Duke. He needs to look in the mirror, rehearse how he's going to answer that question, and have it down to a T. Because if he doesn't, it's going to hurt his stock.
Yeah, and I think that is the major thing he needs to work on, of the fact that that's his biggest question. That's why people have him following, is that personality issue.
And it's the easiest thing to work on. You just have to have an answer for it.
Yeah. Well, and also along with interviews as well, I think Isaiah Todd could rise because of the fact that, like, when we've heard him talk, like, he is incredibly smart. Mm-hmm. He's well-spoken. Like, you can tell he thinks about what he's going to say. He doesn't just blurt out, like Anthony Edwards. But Anthony Edwards says some fucking gems. So we let him get away with it.
And also posts on Instagram that LaMelo's a fake rookie of the year.
Yeah. I think Jalen Johnson's really going to have to hit it out of the park. Mm-hmm. An idea I actually had for a question was, who is, like, obviously, you know, only 69 people are showing up to it. Mm-hmm. Do you think there's any people that who aren't showing up that you really wish we would have seen, like we would have got to see at the Combine?
See, like, I'm trying to think. I'm going to have to look at Tankathon really quick. Because, like, most of the guys I want to see are there. You know what? There is one name, and I know that he got an invite to a G League thing, but not the draft combine. Kofi Coburn. I'll be biased. Like, I think Kofi should have got an invite to the combine. Because, like, I look at Kofi and I go, he's got way more potential than Charles Bassie. And you gave Charles Bassie an invite?
Yeah, and, like, I'm kind of just looking through some of the people, and obviously, like, you know, probably due to things overseas, like, we're not going to get, like, Philip Petrusev there, we're not going to get Rokas.
I mean...
You know, and obviously, that's probably, like, overseas stuff. I feel like that's why they're not able to make it. I don't think Ayayi's going to be there.
No, he wasn't on the list.
Yeah. Yeah, Bravo. Cunningham's not going to the Combine because I think he knows he's fucking number one no matter what.
That's the thing. Like, the top, like, that's why I'm kind of
JG4's
like...
not going either, right?
No, he is. JG4 and Mobley are on the list. That's what I was surprised about. Because, like, they're...
I think...
Unless it's like Kate is like, fuck it, I'm one, and Mobley and Green are like, I gotta fight for second.
Yeah, well, I see. That's what I think this Combine's really gonna do.
Jalen Green's on there.
This is gonna be the competition of, like, this I think is gonna solidify who goes 2 and 3.
Okay.
Yeah, as well, kind of just a name I don't see on there, and I think this person may have, obviously, I don't know if they actually received an invite or not.
Yeah.
I think Jay Huff, if he got the invite, would have turned this shit down in a heartbeat because he would have definitely fucking tanked it.
Yeah.
When people see that man's a goddamn string bean.
I mean, also, like, I look at, like, Drew Timme, guy out of Gonzaga, like, he had a meteoric rise during the tournament to where I'm like, if he didn't get an invite, that's a travesty because he's someone that I feel like at least deserves to be on the stage for it. But I know they also have, like, a certain number of invites that they can, like, give out and stuff. I wouldn't have given an invite to Charles Bassey. I'm sorry. Dave and I are very low on Charles Bassey. He's a guy that's been in fucking college for 3 years. And it's basically like him and Io came in the same, and Io's done this, and Bassey's done this in my mind, where it's like there are two of like the opposite directions. Any final things you think we haven't brought up before we end the show?
Just kind of as a one last time over, I guess, just a final question of who do you think will be the absolute hugest riser from the combine?
Absolute, like, you mean like combine happens and then in a mock draft they are rising the most picks in a draft?
Yeah, sort of like, and I'm going to use him as an example. I'm not saying, like, anyone's going to have this fucking meteoric of a rise, but, like, how a lot of people, like, didn't have Suggs that high. Gonzaga does really good, and Suggs, like, fucking meteorically rose up.
Io DeSumo. I'm going Homer route. I feel like after the combine, he will be back to where he should have been before, where he was last year of, like, fringe lottery guy.
All right. And you'll go with him, I'll go with the Sean Highland.
Okay, yeah. You've been riding Bones all fucking segment and like all fucking week. So it's like of course you were going to pick Bones Highland for your guy. But that is going to do it. Soapy, how does it feel that we actually previewed the Combine?
It's about fucking time, because if we wait until next week, that's when the Combine's happening.
Yeah, we wouldn't have done it. Like, so we
would have had to be like, all right, what's your availability Saturday? And we'd find a way to push that all fucking too.
Yeah, we would have. We wouldn't have done it. But that is going to do it for MVP Sports Live. Thank you guys for everything. Thank you to Bravo for the super chat yet again. Thank you for everything. YouTube chat was popping off like crazy. Remember, if you want to get into the Discord, if you're not in it, you're missing out because it's free. You can join it right down below. We are having NBA discussions each and every day in the Discord. You're missing out if you are not in it. If you want to support us at a monthly value and get rewarded for it, you can go ahead and check out either our Patreon page, patreon.com/MVPvids, or become a channel member. You get exclusive rewards for which tier you support us. So go ahead. Also, thank you to our Patreon sponsor, Pat Hill. Forgot to say that for the game stream. Forgot to say it at the beginning of the show. I will say it now. Also, if you're not subbed, hit that sub button, notification bell, hit that like button, and also comment down below. Let us know what you guys think. We will be back next week. Dave's back. Dave's been on vacation all week. Dave will be back on the show next week. Also, I hope Jake is back. Is this going to be, Soapy, another week where it's like Dave was off all of this week for a vacation reason, and then, you know, the Sixers get eliminated, so Jake, like, MIAs us for a full week and doesn't show up?
Maybe.
Let's hope Sixers win. Let's hope for our sake the Sixers win.
We're going to have to go look at every underpass to see if we can find Jake drinking there.
We're just going to fucking send wellness checks to Jake's house. But we'll be back next week talking more
He's
sports
a millionaire.
news.
He doesn't need wellness
He's
checks.
A millionaire. But we'll be back next week. As always, have a good day, everybody.